Hello again, beautiful people. Welcome to part two of our questions. The topic being Apollo 20, maybe Apollo 19, this ancient spacecraft that is in a junkyard and a crater on the moon, and all sorts of cool stuff. Thank you, Eric. I love you.
Love you, Mama.
And we will have Lauren's information, guiding receptions,
Yes,
in the description box, but also we'll put it on the screen for you. Okay.
thank you.
There's a lot to learn about her. All right, regarding the people who were in the spacecraft, does this race still exist? It's
Yes.
not how, okay, so they're not extinct.
No.
Oh, good. Why did the spacecraft ship crash land? What was the cause of malfunction? But it sounded like it was a purposeful crash, right? That
Yeah, it just
decommissioned.
landed, decommissioned. The spot it was in was fine. Like the zone kind of seemed decommissioned, like they just don't use that area and it was there.
Oh. All right, so Eric, you say it's a living ship. So that means it died, or is it still alive?
No, so he goes, energy is not never created nor destroyed,
I know,
right?
but is the body of the ship dead?
So the body of the ship becomes that petrified
Oh yeah, right.
skeleton. So that's truly like a skeleton. Like he's showing me like vascular, it's like vascular, but it looks like a tree. Does that
Ooh,
make sense?
yeah. So
But
does,
it's like moving like a human organism
hmm,
would on like the circulatory and muscular level, but it looks like a tree.
wow. So did
Yeah.
did it have a soul, or does it have a soul?
So remember, he's showing me everybody put of themselves in
Yeah,
and
so it has
borrowed.
fractals
So
of
it
everybody's
goes
soul.
back in and enriches them and enlightens them even more because that energy goes back in because there's never any waste. So they decommission themselves. They have their own free will of when they are done.
Cool. All right. What? Okay. Well, of course.
Oh, real quick, he's showing me, he's saying, like, let's say, okay, so a lot of these ships, I want to mention this, a lot of the ships that were coming or that became decommissioned were really to protect the planet Earth, right? And to keep it growing because the more wonderful, beautiful, fruitful planets there are, the healthier the multiverse is.
Makes sense. Interesting.
Yes. So that's
Okay.
why they're all
Now,
were coming there. And the moon was kind of like your refuel, your pit stop before you know,
okay.
it's like
So,
O'Hare Airport, it's
oh
your
God, that's a
change.
busy one. All right, so apparently a couple of astronauts actually saw the spacecraft. Is that true? If so, there's some questions about that.
Well, I mean, so he's referring back to in part one, we mentioned that there are humans in the moon
In
space
them.
center. So yes, astronauts have seen it specifically on the initial moon landing. No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Did they take any samples of what was in the spacecraft
Oh yeah, we have
or bring back anything?
so it looks like the International Space Station, any country I'm seeing, US, Russia, China for sure, all have that sequencing, that DN, the organic,
Okay.
what we can read of it.
Oh,
So there's a lot, we have it, but we can't reproduce it, actually study it, or we don't have anything that goes to like that microscopic of a
oh
level that we would
wow.
be able to do anything with it. It's literally a chunk of dirt.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So did they find an intact humanoid body in that ancient spacecraft?
Specifically, that one that we're talking about, no. But have they found them in other ones completely similar on the same timeline? Yes, like I said, like that's like an O'Hare, like as Eric
Yeah.
said. So if you were, again, they're protecting Earth, something alien from a different planet needs gold. Everybody wants gold. So I think a lot of it's protecting the gold here
Okay.
on Earth. That attracts some more, not just, I don't want to say negative, but they just will take what they
Greedy.
need. They're the parasitic,
Oh,
more of a
yeah.
parasitic
Okay.
species.
Ooh.
So the elemental species that come protects it from those parasitic species. Think of them as our antibodies or our white blood cells.
Okay. Now, Apollo 19 apparently was never launched. It was intended to go to some special place on the moon, but apparently the project was supposedly canceled. Well, was it ever launched and it was just kept a secret, or?
It never launched. There were too many issues with. So what humans struggle with is Einstein's theory of relativity
Yeah.
and how, so we have, okay. So I guess there's like a instrument that we have, and he's showing me an episode. What is that? Like it's a history, Ancient Aliens or History Channel.
I love Ancient Aliens.
Oh my God, so
Oh
good.
my God.
I watch it all the time.
Mm,
That's actually one of the practices I do with him. He'll
cool.
like bring me to it and show me what we channeled. But there's an instrument that literally, if you're holding it, no matter where you are in space, it's almost like a weather forecast, like if you can get to that spot or not, or the shortest distance.
Mm.
A black hole's going to come around and you can like orb into it, and then it only takes like 13 light years instead of 80 billion light years.
Wow.
Like, so if you have that and you know where you are relative in space, that's what the humans are kind of missing with space travel. They're not understanding the um, atmosphere beyond our galaxy and how that impacts us and the universes around our universe.
Wow.
So, with that specific mission, the date, everything was just, it would have never been successful. And that's kind of how NASA, and it looks like Russia and China, I don't know. Oh, that information was leaked to them. Um, that's how they started learning about the relativity in space and efficient travel and how to utilize atmospheric weather, almost like to like catch the energies from you, like almost swoop you around and like slingshot you
Oh, cool.
into like a certain direction. So then it's more conserving of like the fuel that we humans have created for space travel.
Very cool. We need to learn how to bend time and space to manipulate that. So apparently, this crew, Apollo 20 or one of them, that found an intact human body, female, with 6 digits on each hand. It was found in the Apollo 19 module, but now that we say that it was never launched, did anybody find this humanoid female with digits on each hand?
Okay, so again, it's this test run he's showing me.
Okay.
So they did almost like a literal test run, as if okay, so it's like they're out in somewhere where, okay, like Alaska, where it's dark all the time,
Oh,
but almost like desert conditions, but it's dark.
mhm.
And or maybe they created something with like a helmet, I don't know. But they're doing like this test run, and they actually had real aliens,
Hmm.
a real alien cadaver. So did they see one? Yes. But was it the actual scenario? No, it was like a whole
It
test
was a
run. They
test run on
used
Earth.
real stuff
It was a test
here
run on Earth, right?
on Earth.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Well, can we bring that humanoid? Oh, first of all, wait, the humans that are supposedly in or on the moon, Are you talking about alien hybrids, like half human, half alien, Eric? Or pure human?
Both.
Okay. All right.
Because where do you think the hybrids come from?
I know. So what is the
Oh,
meaning?
okay, real quick. He's showing me. Okay, so it's a spiritual contract. So I guess people that go missing in the woods
Yeah.
end up there a lot.
Ooh, like the missing
There's like
100.
those like contracted that are like supposed to show that human experience of just completely disappearing, almost to say, hey, we do exist. And they have the choice once they're up there if they want to come back or not. That's why some people have the story about coming back.
Cool. That's neat because we just had a whole thing about time travel, and we talked about these things, these people that just disappear in these national parks and forests.
Yeah, you showed me like a national park, like a
Yeah.
hiker. Show me a dude with like a orange backpack.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He's like, hi, Earth.
Yeah, go
I'm
through
human.
portals.
He decided to come join the show.
All right. Are you still
Um,
there on the moon or what? Dude,
yes, he is alive. I'm alive and well on the moon. He has a very shaggy beard. He loves the color orange. He had an orange backpack on when he went missing. He loved hiking in a tank top, even though he knew it wasn't great, and he would, I guess, get cut up a lot. Shorts with the tube socks and hiking boots. He liked to hike like in like warm, hot conditions. And one day it was just a normal hike. He was even supposed to like, I think, meet people. And he was just like hanging out in the woods, eating like one of his protein bars. And they came and they just talked to him. He was like, yeah, let's do this.
wow.
And he just went up.
Did you go
But he said,
through a
yes, I'm
portal?
alive.
Did you go through a
I
portal or into a ship or a portal that took him directly to the moon or
oh,
what?
he's like, oh, he goes, oh, I don't know what happened. I just ended up here. I don't know. But
That's
yeah,
funny.
essentially you get like he said, like the three portal holes. You
Oh
get
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
he straight
yeah.
up like, yeah, like beam me up, Scotty. Like you get beamed up. And
Cool.
then, from Earth to the moon is not that long of a travel, I guess. So
Okay. All right. So what about this humanoid body, this intact female with 6 digits on each hand?
yeah,
What is
that
her
was
name?
so that she was a cadaver from like a colony on the
Oh yeah.
moon
Great
that just
Lakes.
like donated her body to science. So she agreed to, just kind of like he's showing me for like crime scene investigation. They do studies where people donate their bodies and they like leave them outside to study the decomposition rates in certain
Ooh, yummy.
climates to know when a body,
So she
like the
came
time
from
of
the
death.
moon?
Huh?
She came from the moon? She died in
Yes.
the moon? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
What is her race called? And what is her name? She has one.
I don't, her race is,
Not pronounceable.
mm-mm.
Okay.
It's almost like tickles your ear, like a hum, like it like hum. I don't know, it hums.
Like a humming. That's cool. Is she the pilot of this ancient spacecraft?
No, she was what they call a nurturer.
Mm.
So she would call on different nurturing energies if people were ill or sick, like a healer, but not just in a physical sense, emotional, spiritual.
Oh, wow.
Um, if you
Nice.
just needed a hug.
Oh, what was her mode of death?
So with her species, when they're kind of ready, they kind of go. They don't um
They
no
just leave their
waste.
body, vacate.
Yeah. Yeah. So she's showing me kind of like the ship calls on the energy. Her energy was called on, and she knew her energy would be more powerful and useful there.
Okay.
So she says her goodbyes, do whatever you want with what's left of me. I'm
Cool.
going to go now join this project or this
Okay.
mission.
All right. How old is the spacecraft that we've been talking about, according to our timelines, of course?
Billions.
Oh my God. Okay, these are a lot have to do with her being a pilot or being trained, so we're not going to do that. How long?
If he said if you want to talk about just a pilot and their training, we can do that,
Okay,
but
we
she
can, yeah, that's
specifically.
true. Okay, all right. How long? Yeah. How do they choose people for the mission on on this particular ancient craft?
So it chooses them in a way. So humans come in and have the amnesia. They don't have the amnesia.
Oh, yeah.
So everything is very intentful. So it's not like, oh, you know what? That looked really fun on TV. I'm gonna try that. It's not, it's
Be
not
all that
like,
you can be. Yeah.
yeah, it's more of just what, where they left off and what their energy kind of transformed into. Because again, every time they become one with a collective or a project, all of that DNA is intertwined and activates different things. So now your energy sequence, there isn't, it's enlightenment too. So it's more expansive, um, with greater connections in between the expanse
Cool.
as they move on.
How long does it take to do the training to become a member of the spacecraft?
It all kind of depends.
In a range, maybe.
He said like it all happens so organically. Since birth, since they come in.
Oh, wow.
It like never start it never starts, never ends. It's just continuous.
Oh, how long does it take to build a spacecraft like that?
It needs at least around 100 individual species to
Wow.
start it. He's showing me the 100
Species or
monkey thing.
individual aliens?
Individual species.
Okay. Wow. So did it take like years in our timeline to make that spacecraft? Or
Again, it would depend on the need of the collective. So however long it needed to take, it would take. So if it needed to take a week would be the shortest. It needs at least a week,
okay.
7 days.
Okay. How old were you when you left your planet?
The woman with the 6 fingers.
Yeah.
Okay, so she did a couple different missions. So she would say she's giggling like a dog human year thing just for our brains. She said 63, but they
Oh, wow.
live like hundreds and hundreds
Oh,
of years.
wow.
Like,
Ugh, that sounds awful.
yeah, maybe like even like a couple thousand. I was like, oh my God, you don't
Oh
live
my
like
God.
10,000 years, do you?
So, how old were you when you landed on the moon, which I guess was your final resting place?
Okay, so I guess she did answer that. That was 63. And then when
Oh, wait.
yeah, I'm sorry. That's what was the
No,
other
wait.
when she passed?
She left her planet when she
Oh
was
yeah, I guess
older,
it's the same age. It's
and then she arrived at the moon at
right
what?
because again, she's showing me the dog years.
Okay, well, do it in human years. Did she land on the moon?
So it would
Arrive at the
take
moon? It's like
11, like basically a year. So she would be the same age, but as basically from the moon to the earth, then she would be a year older.
oh, that's it. Okay, good. Can you?
Again, she's showing me that relativity slingshot, multiple wormholes. If you just like shot up and try to like, you would never get there. It would take billions of
Oh,
years.
wow. Can you tell us a little bit about your planet, like education, government, food, lifespan? We already talked about any issues. Um,
A lot of the only issues are really just other parasitic, she said again,
Oh, yeah.
just think of it as like a virus attacking a human body or a bacteria overwhelming a human body. So it's all just preventative measures. There's no interspecies conflict other than she said again, it's very organic. So think of it as somebody that's overweight and needs to lose weight. If there's too much of something, it's something has to give. So if again, but everybody has free will, and if there's too many that are immobile, eventually the scales always tip and they realize it because they are one with everything.
Yeah.
And that's an enlightenment for their planet. But they don't ever harm each other. They don't kill each other.
What does the planet look like?
A lot like Earth, but huge, like
Okay. Like water, trees,
40,000
forests.
times.
Is it oxygen? Oh, is the atmosphere oxygen or something different?
She said oxygen like, yes.
Okay, oxygen like.
There's more things that like enhance their oxygen
Mm.
that they require less. So they almost have gills, but they're not underwater
Oh, interesting.
because they can
Oh,
pull the oxygen and other, all the energy, whatever the organism needs, gets pulled in through the gills.
what do you eat?
Again, that would depend on the species. Everything
So
would
several
be organic,
different
no
species
meat. Like
live
there's
on
not
your
like
planet.
meat.
Oh,
There's
okay.
yeah.
So mostly plant-based.
Yeah, and it's more for enjoyment. Again, they seem to get all of the nutrients and everything that they need because it's 100% efficient through like the gills and breathing.
So like
Um
net zero, like
mhm.
energy from
Like so
the
like they don't,
vacuum in
she says they
space.
don't poop or pee.
Well, that's lucky.
Again, that's always the worst part about incarnating as a human, she said, is going to the
Oh.
bath.
Hey, what about education? Are you educated? Do you have schools and et cetera? Or you just download information?
So there's some education, and that's more tactful things like how to organize as a collective, how to utilize different energies for different things, and
Oh, wow.
as a like how to move as one with many. So
Mhm.
it's more of that kind of training, not like sit down, don't move. She said, I never understood that. You have to sit and concentrate so hard on doing this. How are you ever supposed to experience anything?
Oh, God.
Everything's very just experience.
Experiential. Good.
That's how they learn.
Do
They have to touch it. They want
you
to
have a
touch it.
government? Do you have a government?
There again is not really a hierarchy because everyone just has a true idealistic, like libertarian. That is your job. I respect you in your job. This is my job and you respect me in my job. So there's not a need.
So there's not a need for a government to create order and
Mm-mm.
prevent chaos. Okay, good. What's the population of that planet, at least at last count?
It's in the quadrillions because everything's considered a separate
Yeah, wow.
being.
How many species make up those in the quadrillions? How many separate alien species?
Trillion.
Oh, God. What was it like right before you left your planet? You left it in good shape?
Our planet's always in a good shape. So
We
that's
could
why
learn from you guys.
so they're like, okay, so she's showing me comparatively to the human body until I have some medical background. So think of the multiverse as a human body, and they are like a major defense system. So they're your immune system. So that, you know what I mean, in comparison to the earth, I
Yeah.
guess. and they're planets, but she's showing me that not just her planet, like that water planet that's very similar, even though they seem far away in distance, they are all connected.
Hmm.
So it's so different. It's like hard
It's hard to
to,
find the vocabulary for it, you
well,
know?
it's hard to compare it.
Yeah, it's like apples to oranges.
Yeah, there is no comparison,
All right, I
really. So
think we will.
they're like the
Oh,
lymphatic system. It stretches
beautiful.
out all over, right? But it's all connected and it all goes out for immunity. Thank you.
Perfectly done. All right, thank you, Lauren. Guidingperceptions.com. And you
Yes.
guys go check out part 1. We're going to put the YouTube that these series of questions are based on. We're going to have one more part 3. So be sure you click on the notification bell. And all right, guys, I love you all. Bye.
Bye. He says,
Thank you.
bye, everybody.
This is mind blowing. I love it. Love it. See ya.